And tonight we are blessed to have back Papa, aka Mr. Smooth. Of course, this man is a regular. He's a regular face on this show, man. Thank you and welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You're looking all glum and what's with the hat and you, man? Or what's with you and the hat?
You know what? It's like they say I'm smooth, bald up there, so I just cover it.
Oh, you're bald. God is your baba.
Bald can be very sexy.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I hear a lot of things about bald guys. Is that
Yeah.
true? They say the bald guys, they know how to go down.
Someone used to tell you.
Okay, all right.
I don't have to say.
No problem. No problem. I'm not going to ask. Okay, from one bald man to another bald man. He's
He's not bald. He's not bald.
Receding hairline.
Yeah, so this man is also no new face on the screens. You know him from the headline show, Dr. Senyo Mishram.
Yeah.
I hope I'm getting the name right.
Got it perfect.
Thank you, man. Welcome. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad
And
to be
yes,
here.
Ms. Elaine at all. Ever adorable.
Did I tell you that we have a fan who was always suggesting Elaine?
You're kidding me.
I don't know. They think that you are sexy and you
Probably
can...
because what she's been saying that we don't
No,
get to
I
hear and
preach.
see.
I preach.
Oh yeah,
Tonight,
hallelujah,
my sister,
somebody.
get into the spirit and preach us some songs of Solomon. You know what
I
I
I'll
right?
give you songs of Solomon.
Okay.
Stay
All
blessed,
right.
darling.
So tonight's topic is going to knock you out. Okay, so I get this reaction. All right, so I was with a couple of friends earlier this evening, and I told them that, hey, for duvet tonight, we're talking about the evolution of the vagina. And I got this look. This like we talking about Christmas and how slow Christmas is this year. And then I switched the conversation to another look, and they're like, Giovanni, really? The guys got this look. That's disgusting. And then the women are, you need to watch and learn. Like, it's possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are times you want it small. There are times it tells you, I'm no longer small, treat me big. You know, that whole thing. And sometimes men get carried away. Sometimes they get too many interpretations about the whole size change. Like, no, I think we're going somewhere else. We'll get into all that when we come back from the break. So, yes, the vagina expands, maybe for the lack of a better word. We'll get into the technical bit of that. I don't know which angle Elaine here is going to give us. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't even imagine. Like, that's okay. So, as an actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the
But I'm
line
not going
of
to
beauty.
ask them,
Okay,
trust
all right,
me.
sure. Okay, cool. Thanks to all our sponsors.
A woman's vagina is a sex organ as well as part of the birth canal. Just as women can have different sized breasts, hands and feet, the size and depth of vaginas can also vary. The vagina can change a lot throughout a person's life. It can change during sex, also changes with age, and even during menstrual cycle. Everybody is different. There are different types of vaginas, and therefore no such thing as a too small or too large vagina. The vagina is an incredible organ which changes in response to hormones, life stages, and physical responses. Tonight on Duvet, we delve into evolution of the vagina.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to Duvet here on GH1 Television. My name is Giovanni Caleb. Miss Nancy is here, seated and ready. And of course, we have from the Tantra Community Clinic, Dr. Senyo. And also, Pa, a regular face, Mr. Smooth. He's also here as well. Elaine Atto, actress, is also here with us. So yes, let's talk about the evolution of the vagina. Whether there is something like that, or whether we should be concerned or even talk about this. I mean, how is this even your topic? Doc, you take the first one.
Like you said in the intro, when you mentioned evolution of vagina, most people met you with like shock and surprise. But actually something worth talking about. And I'll put it in the perspective to set the ball rolling for the discussion. You can talk about the vagina's evolution as a developmental thing, as in when the women were in their mommy's wombs, at about 5 months, the vagina begins to form, you know, to the shape and size that we know. When you are born, the inside environment of the vagina changes with time and then stops. And then waits for you to get to puberty. I'm sure by now most people know that that's when women will develop breasts, start having menses, and the rest of that. Around that time, the vagina begins to assume a shape, form, and function ready to start making babies in future. All right. So then a lot of changes go through there. Now, throughout menstruation, you know, your cycle and the rest, vagina changes. During sexual excitement, your vagina changes. During pregnancy and delivery, it changes. When your menses stop and you are growing old, the vagina also changes. So that is developmental evolution of the vagina. Now, I want to add certain aspects to it as well. The vagina has been known to be seen in many lights as well. So historically, the vagina has also evolved. Vagina has been seen before in the past as a shameful organ, to a glorified, and worshipped organ. The vagina has also changed economically as well. In the past, yes.
Please explain that part.
Yes. The vagina has changed economically. Yes. In the past, I mean, you might have heard that people said that, especially prostitution is the oldest profession. In the past, many women would decide to use their vagina for A, B, or C. Even today, many women would like to keep their vagina well because they want it to capture a particular man, or they want to, change the way their vagina looks, feels, and smells, just, for the pleasure of their partner. So in that regard as well, the vagina has evolved so much to the point that these days, people want a specific identity for their vagina as well. So people like to shape the hair in a particular way. People like to
There are
do
so many names, interesting names they have for them.
People do piercings on there. People do, all kinds of crazy stuff that you can think of. And then even the way the vagina is treated as well during sex. Some people have evolved so much. People would want things done to their vagina like just penetration or, oral sex and the rest. So in that regard as well, the vagina has changed so much. Even in religion as well. In the past, this topic would have been a big taboo.
Yeah.
All right.
Or this show.
Yeah, or this show. All right. But today, we've opened up so much. I mean, I can bet that we are all Christians or maybe Muslims and the rest. But we are talking about this topic and we are so happy and we are ready to give people information. So even in religion and how religion looks at the vagina and sexuality, we have evolved so much. So I guess this could easily set the ball rolling.
I see Ms. Nancy agreeing with Dr. Senyo. Dr. Senyo, by the way, is a gynae, so he lives to see vaginas every day. So when he tells the family that, hey, I'm going to work, literally he's going to see vagina from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. So he comes home and his vagina infested, like he's the vagina, literally. He's a walking vagina. So, Ms. Nancy, you wanted to add to that?
Oh, yes. It's a great topic. I'm happy. In fact, it was a bit scary when we decided to discuss this. But then I realized that as a woman, you want to have confidence with yourself. And currently, your confidence is also in between your legs. Absolutely. It's not just about your appearance. It's also in between your legs. So it's important for us to know about the vagina and for our men to understand that we are not, vaginas are not like they stay at the puberty age and that's it. They grow, they change. And they need to understand these changes and accept them alongside us. Because women are having all kinds of challenges because they do not understand their bodies. They are doing all manner of things to their bodies, especially their vaginas, just to please a man. But if I have a husband who understands that at this point in my life, at this age, my vagina is supposed to be like this. If my husband understands that if I get lubricated for him, if I get slippery, it means that I'm responding to his touch and it's nothing bad and I don't have to use every chemical available just to tighten up he would not expect that from me. So we need to have this discussion for ourselves and also for our men.
Love that. Pa, you want to come in?
All right, I just want to add a little to what Doc said. Even from the very beginning when the fetus is made, at the time of conception, the sex organ for the male and the woman looks the same. So if you look at the male organ, the shape of the male organ is just an expanded size of the female, especially the clitoris. They look virtually the same, with the hair, with the leg, and stuff like that. So when the baby is born and it's a female, it has to go through the changes that doctor was going through. And majority of them are hormonal. And then as you grow, you start, immediately you get to that age where you start feeling sexual urges. It means that your estrogen levels are going extremely high. But the problem is, most young people are unable to harness that sexual energy, and then all they think about is throw the energy out. Throwing the energy out simply meaning finding somebody to have sex with them. And that is where the problem comes in. Because once you start throwing the energy out, there's a stage in your life where you need those hormones to even help build the body and help build the brain. So if you throw those things out, it affects your brain, because as we go on, probably would establish the fact that when you are a young person and you start engaging in sex, once your estrogen levels start going up, you start engaging in sex, it affects you psychologically. Your serotonin levels go up, your dopamine levels go up, your oxytocin levels go up, and then it makes you, I even say that what the young people are calling love currently, I call it a temperamental disorder.
And that's it. You can promise anything, do all this.
Oh yes. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Because if you do a brain scan of a young person who is in love, and you compare to somebody who is having obsessive compulsive disorder, the waves are the same. The waves are the same, because it's the same level of oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, vasopressin, and all those neurochemicals up in the head that make up that person who says is in love. So it's important we need to understand these things and understand that sexual energy is the only energy that can be transformed.
You want to say that again?
I'm saying sexual energy is the only energy that can be transformed. If you've read anything from Napoleon Hill, he stated it, that you have to transmute your sexual energy. Sexual energy can be converted into the creative force. It is that creative force that God breathed into man that made man a living soul. It's your sexual energy. Christians will agree with me, but that is
I was gonna ask questions, but
that's a fact,
I was gonna go deeper.
That's all right. Don't worry. Let's not get into
that breath of life that was put into man to make man a creative force. That's your sexual energy. Without sexual energy, there's nothing in this world that will exist.
Yeah, but it will keep that.
What will exist in this world without sex? Plants do.
Okay.
All right. Human beings do. Dogs do, goats do, fishes do, and then there's one interesting thing about a salmon. He has only one orgasm all his life. After that ejaculation, the salmon dies.
All right.
The salmon.
The fish.
Yes. One ejaculation all his life.
Very much like the bees.
I love the way Elaine is taking the last bite. She's been low key, like, okay, guys, wait for me. I'm bringing it on. Elaine, let's hear your thoughts on this one. I think we're all gradually establishing the fact that it's very important for us to talk about this.
Yeah.
We have a lot to learn tonight. And like I said earlier, our goal on the show tonight is to make sure that we educate viewers out there on how the vagina changes with time and age, and also the different types of vagina. I'm getting names already from some viewers who are saying, I call mine. But I'm sure there are some general names that maybe technically you would want to assist our viewers with. So I want them to also understand that the change, some of these changes are normal, especially the partners, so they don't run away. Say, hey, if you are done, I would hear me.
I know.
So, Elaine, you want to come in with the last bite on this one?
Yes, wonderful topic, the VJJ.
The vagina, please.
Yeah.
It's past there.
The vagina.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I want to add to what Ms. Now was saying. She's actually said everything. But when it comes to the vagina itself, like she was saying, if as a child you're growing and you realize that the internal part of your vagina, the lining, let's say you've already had sex and the lining starts to change.
A child having sex?
18, sorry.
Okay. Right.
18 and above. It starts to change. Maybe you would want to add certain chemicals to tighten the place up. You think that maybe your clitoris is becoming too big because it becomes big during sex. There's a term for it. Technically, you would know that. It becomes big during sex.
Flip-flop? V6 overlapping? Oh, okay.
Tumescence.
Tumescence. There's a tumescence.
Oh Lord, I thought it was a technical. Yes, you think that maybe you've got an infection or something, and maybe your husband or boyfriend may think that you may have gone somewhere or you may have got an infection, so you may have to add certain chemicals. No. Like we are saying, it evolves, it changes. So if after menstrual cycle it has changed and immediately, or you are ovulating and then you decide to have sex immediately, and then your boyfriend or husband thinks that it's the place I am too wet, too slippery. No, so you have to add salt water, you have to add a certain chemical or certain water, ice cubes.
Good.
No.
Good. It's good
the
you're raising all
vagina,
these points because
the vagina evolves. Yes, it evolves. And if the, my friend say, I didn't want to change the labia, no lips, no, who's a starting baby, na or the nensa, and two co baby, I know the nensa tower breast no do. And also come.
Okay, interesting.
Right.
So, no, I mean, it's interesting that I know we have to get there, but a lot of people are already asking questions about treatment. Treatment. Should we be worried? I mean, yeah, you talked about the changes being normal.
Yeah.
Where do we involve you? Where do we come to the hospital to say, okay, I think mine is scaring me?
Yeah, so I think that any change in your body that you do not understand, then I mean that is already grounds enough for you to, seek help. Okay. Sometimes people come to see us with all kinds of problems. I think the lips of my vagina are too big. It wasn't like that before, so now I'm worried. So
the lips are big.
Yeah, so we examine that patient, and then we either reassure you that this is normal, or if you think that this is not good for you, it's a self-image thing, or probably your partner is also complaining that saying, I say, your wings, and is too, it gets in the way. Then when you come to us, we'll look at what your immediate needs are, and then we could also do minor surgeries to reshape the vagina. Mind you, there are surgeries for the vagina. One for tightening the vagina, pushing organs that are loose or loose vaginas as well, and then some diseases of the vagina as well, we can do surgery for. But cosmetically as well, we could reshape the vagina, make it smaller, make it tighter, remove unwanted areas and all of that, as professional work that we do in the hospital. So that can be done. But many a time what happens is that people come to you with so many worries. And when you examine them, you realize that, look, they just have a normal variant of a vagina, but they are too worried. So you take them through the psychological, therapy as well. And then you make them accept what they have, or invite their partners so that you can have a good chat where they tell you what their problems are with the vagina they have and all that. Men tend to put too much pressure on women on sexuality and and what they have. A man can just say to a woman that, Sebi, your thing is too big. There's this story, I'll share quickly. I was somebody who slept with a woman, and then the woman he trying to tell the woman that the vagina was too big. Said that.
But in effect, he's saying he's also too small.
Yes, and then the woman said, "You are small." So really, whenever you open your mouth to tell a woman that she's too big, then you are too small. All right, so we should avoid. Yes, we should avoid telling women that some part of their body is not the right one. It's called body shaming, and body shaming is already a shame on you yourself. All right, so we should avoid that. When there's a genuine problem, the smell of the vagina has changed. The vagina gets, hostile to you. Before you weren't getting scratches, now you get scratches. So you want to come and talk to us about it. Or the woman gets, too wet, and you are thinking that it's a problem for you. You come in and you talk to us. Or there is so much pain on penetration during sex. Then you come to us. When you come to us, we'll analyze everything and tell you that, look, there is something you are not doing right. Example, when men come and say that the woman gets too dry, it tells you that you are not doing foreplay right. A woman has to, by now we all know that for sexual arousal for a woman, or the response, she has to be excited. Now the excitement, increases impulses from nerves that are well placed in the vagina, in the clitoris and the rest, and they begin to fire impulses. Now these impulses are pleasurable, all right? Increase the heart rate and makes a woman warm and the rest. Once you've hit a woman onto a certain level, she falls on a table which you call a plateau. Now on that plateau, increased stimulation, talking in the ears and the rest will make a woman, there are cells in the vagina which contain what we call glycogen. All right. Now this glycogen, when it's released, it releases a bit of water as well. This water oozes out of the cells in the vagina and makes it like a fountain, all right? And makes it very slippery and smooth in readiness. All right. Now, when you are able to stimulate the woman well, on that plateau stage, she'll quickly hit orgasm where muscles begin to go into contraction and the woman is just coming like water. All right. But during the plateau stage, if you begin to do things that the woman does not like, for instance, you are touching the wrong place. Most men like to squeeze nipples like they were hard nuts. Women don't like that.
Women don't.
Yeah, some women don't like that. There are certain stages, I'm sure we'll talk about
songs like in the background.
And
so
all
already
that.
the mood is wrong.
And then probably the odor of your body, your mouth, and the rest. Now, on that plateau stage, most women can return, and then go all dry. Wow. All right. So something must be there that you are not doing right. Okay. Now, on the other hand, when a woman is so wet, probably you are doing everything right for that woman. All right. Slippery is good. Sometimes when it's too much, some people will take tissue and dab a little out. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So don't tell your woman she's too wet. And then when there's a foul odor, just find a nice way of telling your woman, look, can you go and see Dr. Senyo? Or another gynecologist Or could we, start talking
go together.
I think that works. That's what you should do. So don't just say you have a bad smell and then she's left with all of that pressure and talking to friends.
And maybe she's an HR in the company, she goes there, or a head teacher or something.
She can't work well.
That day everybody's...
Yes, and that's when friends will start saying, oh, take this thing and push in there. Get this wash. Get that. And women are falling. And on Facebook these days, there are people who are selling stuff, tightener, perfume, and all of that for the vagina. I'm sure we'll get to those, and then we'll tell you which are dangerous and which are okay.
And I think
what I want to add to what Doctor just said is, yes, the vagina is unique and it keeps changing. Each woman's vagina looks different, feels different, smells different. But there's one thing that you should also know. While you are growing, the clitoris also grows. And people think the clitoris is just the head, which is the gland. And some people decide to just cut the gland off. They call it female mutilation.
Genital mutilation, yeah.
But once you cut the head off, the legs are still there. The legs lines up all down the labia to the, what do you call it, that gland, the last gland under the... Bartholin gland. So it is big. Now, some people end up, because of certain hormonal imbalances, having bigger clitoris. Some people, you can't even identify their clitoris. But some people have very large clitoris. Some of them are as big as my thumb.
Even bigger.
Yeah.
There's some that look like a penis.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. As big as my thumb. Yeah. So if you are with a woman and you see something like that, it shouldn't scare you. It shouldn't make you think that she is
bad.
No, not bad. Like some people think she's a witch, like a hermaphrodite, or coming from some spiritual world or something. But it is just because she has a little more male hormones than female hormones. We should understand those things. And then also, doctor was talking about tightness and all those things. It comes with your physiology. The type of sphincter muscles you have on your face and around your genital will determine how tight or how loose you are.
You mentioned this before.
Yes. You can even tell it from the face.
Yes. And that got
from the nose?
From the face and nose, you can just describe it.
Yes,
you can just spell it.
Yeah, I think the first time you mentioned it, you were looking at Miss Nancy's nose. But let's look at the camera today. Yeah, I was there.
From the study of reflexology, you can tell that the labia of the woman is as thick as the lips.
Right. So quickly to add to that, in the vagina, the vagina is like a tubular structure and it's muscle. Yeah. And it has all these fibers. And for females, most of your fibers or your tissues respond to estrogen. Estrogen makes them stronger. That's why when you hit menopause and your estrogen levels are low, everything goes lax. Okay, all the supports in the body. All right. So the more estrogenized you are, the more the stronger the vagina as well is. Now, people who have stronger tissues, you can tell by the structure of their faces and all of that. So that's why some people can tell that when a woman has thick, big lips, then down there they'll be big as well.
You see, but Doc, the thing is,
can that be medically supported?
Well, there are so many researches, and some of the researches will support, and then only for another one to come up and say that is not true.
But Doc, the fact is, you see, when it comes to the size of the vagina, it is a vaginal canal. And then we have the size of the labia. The size of the labia is
correlates
with the lips. So if the lips are thick up and down, you have
that's to differ.
For some people, that's why research goes back and forth.
It's about the skin. That's what you
say.
It's
about the skin.
Yes, the skin.
About the
so if you have thin lips, there you could be thin. If you have full, it could be very fleshy down there. It's not about the size or anything.
The size itself has to do with the width of the lips.
Because I knew you wanted to say something like that.
That's only one area that I cannot agree.
Exactly. With that, I would never agree.
We know that the vagina for every woman, every adult woman, we can talk about, the length of
7
the
to
vagina.
12 centimeters.
About that, all right? And that even that, the front is about 7, the back is about 9. The beauty of the vagina is this, that when it is stimulated, it has the ability to double its length.
Yes.
All right?
And then also, it can expand it 200%.
Another beauty of it is that, you see, it's also a birthing canal. So it changes in form and size to accommodate the baby that is passing through.
200% of its original
Absolutely,
size.
yes.
So, Ms. Nancy, you want to come?
No, you see, the viewer should understand that the women are quiet. Because we own the vagina.
I was going to say that.
We own the vagina, but we don't go in there. These are the ones that are going in and out. They have more information about our vaginas than ourselves. Congratulations, Jeremy.
I was going to say that for the very first time in a long time, my producer, who is a female, Anita Amwa, is not talking to me because she's also taking a pen and paper. She's writing, and it's like, I will not come and keep myself here. This is myself. Myself. My name is canal length. Right, I get that.
Traditionally, the nose has been always been compared to the clitoris.
Oh wow!
Yes, and the lip to it, just like he mentioned.
Yes.
So traditionally, if you meet somebody's wife and you touch her nose, it means sexual harassment. In Ashanti traditions, you're afraid because having pulled somebody's nose, you are practically playing with her clit.
But so what these are about is also documented 7,000 years back.
Okay.
In some Egyptian mummies, I'm sure.
No.
He does a lot of Chinese. So we know.
It's written. Yes, it's written. Yes. Translated into English. Right, with flexology when it comes to the sex area. So these things, when you look at them and you look at it practically, and compare with people that you see, and you are able to tell the person's sex organ size and type straight from the face.
Okay, hold on, guys. Let's get to actually the phone lines now because this, it's getting very interesting.
Yes.
And also, I want us to look at the types next because a lot of people are also asking, what name do we give to this type and what does it mean? And it's also an equal opportunity for us to inform our viewers out there, especially those of you watching with your husbands and your partners. Okay, together we're informed for better and stronger relationships. And I love the feedback we get. We're helping a lot of relationships out there, guys. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, maybe we take this for granted sometimes. But yes, we are helping make homes happier. Apart from money for some, sex is the next thing. And for some, sex over money. So, Doc, can we, Ms. Nancy, you want to help us with some of the types? Or
I want to establish a fact that the physiology of a woman can determine how she is down there. We are all not the same. For instance, one thing I know, I'm a petite and I'm a curvaceous woman.
Wow. That's right.
So what it means is that I'm quite short with my length. So if I am going out, I'm going out and I'm going to look for a very big instrument. Yes, I will suffer. The moment you enter, you hit my cervix, and sex is very, very painful to me. And so for women like me, we usually would want our backside to take some of the length if it's too big. So our best positions are to enter from the back, doggy style. Even doggy can be a bit tricky, but lying on your side,
with your legs
and receiving from there, your backside, your buttocks can take a bit of the length, and you can feel safe.
So you should know what to go for.
You know, with us, we have the kind of
it's curved.
Sister, you also curved.
Yes, I'm curved.
Did you ever get that kind of testimony where he says that I did not ask
I said, baby, you're going to check out.
Yeah, so
traditionally, from what I learned from my grandmother, you say you can decide to go against it, but trust me, it's true. My grandmother says there are these, I don't know if it's tissues, like spongy.
Yeah.
So if it's well kept, when the penis penetrates, it holds it firmly. So when it's going in and coming out, so it helps.
I would agree with you. You know, the inside of vagina, there are these folds which we call rugi. Okay. Now these folds are, they are directed in such a way that they come out, you know, and then they form like a big fold like that. Like you know, when you eat upon chinamna the sapono. So it's like that. And the younger you are or the fresher you are, you see that these rugi are thrown into wilder folds. And there's muscle behind it. And then not, you know. So it's very true. And it's very pleasurable for a man. You see, for a man as well, when the vagina is able to hold the penis, it has a suctioning effect on it. So as it goes in and out, the vagina is actually drawing blood into the penis, and it gets bigger, harder, and fills you in there.
So that is why it is important for women to train their coccyx muscles.
Absolutely.
You have to train your PC muscles. Because once your PC muscles is trained, the vagina becomes trained. Once the vagina is trained, you will be able to handle whatever man that you are having sex with. The only problem is if the man has length more than you do, and the man is hitting your uterus. If you're not careful, you can have a shifted uterus, and that is another very.
Or you could have a tear, you know,
a tear on the cul-de-sac. You can have a tear on the cul-de-sac. So it's important that
posterior fornix.
You check that.
I need to put across this point. The vagina would only hug your penis when the woman is in sync with you. Her head is into you, her heart is into you, her whole body is responding to you. This does not happen with technical skills. So you don't come in saying I have a big one. You don't come in saying that I know how to. No. Her whole body should respond to you. If she responds to you in that manner, that's when her body will hug you in there and not want you out. It's very, very emotional also.
Nancy, the other thing that women need to understand is once you thrust too hard on the woman's vagina, the whole place becomes numb.
So let's quickly look at
it becomes dumb.
All right, sure. Guys, let's look at what we have on the screen right now.
So that is
we're talking about the types.
The types of vaginas available. Miss Puff.
So, well, you can look at, you know, all this while we've been talking about the vagina.
Producer should take your time so that we can see
colloquial terms, where we are referring to vagina as both the outside bit, which is the vulva, and then the inside. But technically, really, the vagina refers to only the inside, the tube. But for the sake of our discussion in lay terms, so these ones, the Miss Puffs and the rest, refer to the outside, apple plum and the rest. They refer, and you know,
it's the outside. You see, so please, Anita, can we get this in a particular order so we help the discussion? So if you can get Miss Barbie or Miss Skirting or Puff Puff. Miss Barbie here, guys.
Easy like that.
You see, for some people, like we said, because of their body type, the tissues they have and the rest, you see that the external genitalia, you know, forms according to how much tissue they have. So you have a woman who is very thin, you know, doesn't have so much flesh. The vagina is also so thin, outlined out there. All right. Now,
we don't look at it from the way the vagina looks. How deep? You can't tell.
No, you can't tell how deep. We are talking about the outside. Yeah, you can not tell.
But with this one, we are only seeing that the labia left and right is covering the manora. The majora is covering the manora.
Which usually, you know, is the case.
It's usually the case. And there are times when you have the majora covering the manora, and you have a part or a portion of the manora showing on
Showing
top.
on top.
So you can have one that's the majora on the sides,
Yes.
and then the minora
Minora
come
is
out,
out.
and then they shoot out like flowers.
Flower. That's
So
what
they're
they
like
call
budding
the
flowers.
tulips.
Yes,
Yes,
the
that's what they
tulips.
call the
Yes.
tulips.
Yes.
Yes.
So it buds like a flower.
Yeah.
Now all these things, I think that God in His own wisdom sometimes
Amazing.
makes these things so beautiful, so that a man sees it and quickly, you know,
Doctor,
he gets into that
all the
mood.
vaginas beautiful? Of all the vaginas you have seen in
Which the
your
most beautiful?
medical life,
So this,
are they all beautiful?
quickly,
Right.
quickly
Yes.
before we
Yes,
answer this
Doc.
question.
Yeah, this
This
is-
Miss
So you
Curtains.
see,
Look at
with this one, you can see that the majora is sort of pushed on the side. You can see it outlined,
Yeah.
and then the minora comes out a little bit. Sometimes one lip will be longer than the other, so
Will
it
this
looks.
be due to childbirth?
No.
No, some
Natural.
people are just
Some are
like
natural.
this.
Even you can have virgins like
Yes,
that.
looking like this.
Yes.
And it's just how much estrogen and other tissues
Yeah.
they have.
It's a hormonal-
That's acting on purely hormonal. Mind you, that before your external genitals change into male or female, it's just the presence of testosterone or not.
And then, testosterone,
And then it changes. Everybody, man or woman, has the same external appearance.
yes. Okay.
So your balls, if you become a woman, your balls will
the
now,
ovaries.
the scrotum will now become something
They
else.
become the ovaries.
You understand?
Yeah.
So everybody has that. So depending on how much change happens, you see a woman who has maintained most of the male structures. So you see the majora and the minora looking so big. And then the clitoris also looking very, very big. It means that that person was exposed to more male hormones, and so those structures sort of stayed on. And others who have less hormones will have, less conspicuous.
And there are even times
I
when
wanted
you have...
to ask about the beauty.
Right.
Looking at all the types of vaginas that we've seen, are they all not beautiful in their own way, or some are more beautiful than ours? Others.
For me, as a practitioner, a gynecologist, every vagina is beautiful. All right, I see,
no.
We love you,
and
man. We
unique.
love you.
Every vagina,
Wow.
right?
Seriously, you have to see it with a certain eye.
Yeah.
Because even for some of us who are not, I mean, personally, I'm not a gynae,
Yeah.
but I meet a lot of women with such certain
Well,
conditions.
how do they wear it?
You see, keep it in there. You see labia that is folded. You see the labia folding inside, and then it's a young person. And normally you would think that it is a woman who has been overused, so the labia is wrinkled. You get that, but it is not so. It's just because of the sort of hormones that she has. So the fact that she has black lips doesn't mean she is overly sexual
not at
or
all.
she has overused herself. It's just because of hormonal changes that the body has gone through. So we need to accept. I saw one with the left labia hanging, hanging like that, hanging like if there's one here, there's one here, there's one like
The
that.
other one is
just hanging.
So just like the curtains.
Yeah, just like curtain, but it's really hanging that when she wears panties, sometimes it slips out.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes,
She's
so
like,
for
I'm
those
walking away.
are people who come to us to have a labioplasty, as in we cut the redundant area off or the hanging part off, just to make it look equal, as well. Yeah.
That's what, I was coming to that. You can do surgeries to have
a great
those things done.
information. Men should understand these things. You may meet a woman you are absolutely in love with, and you probably get to see this, and because you don't know, you let go of an awesome woman.
That
And
is
yet,
so true.
doctor is here to fix her for you.
Yes.
In fact, make her custom made
Yeah.
for your size, right?
Absolutely. And most men also run away from absolutely normal vaginas. All right. Now, a man came to me and said, my wife, in colloquial terms, in tree, and he was so worried about how big the clitoris was. So they came to see me, and then I asked the woman, when your husband touches you down there with his finger, how do you feel? So media and check because my thing is right out there. All he needs to do is to rub his penis over it a little bit, and I'm jumpy, and I'm coming already. So big clitorises. They are the ones that are most sensitive.
But the thing is, you see,
these women
and
do
then why
have
would that money move?
multiple orgasms.
you have as many as 8,000 nerve endings in there.
In that small organ.
8,000 nerve endings. And then men have between 4,000 and 8,000.
On this big
this
thing.
big thing.
So what it means is that if you have a partner who has a small clitoris, you need to work extra hard.
A lot more.
But if it's big and out there, it's
I
mean, it's easy
accessible.
for you.
I'll just add
Thank God
something
for
to
big clitorises.
Yes. So for a small clitoris, sometimes you can have some problems, and men should know.
There are some you can't even know.
Yeah,
You can't even find. You can't even see them.
Yes.
The minora, which moves and culminates on the clitoris, becomes so big and covers the clitoris. And sometimes the prepuce
covers the whole.
Yes. And sometimes the prepuce or the covering of the clitoris, just like men have foreskin.
The hood, yes.
Also, the hood covers the clitoris. Now, some people come to me, they've never achieved orgasm before, and it's only because the clitoris is hiding within that hood. And over the years, sometimes due to poor hygiene, you have dead cells gluing that hood onto the clitoris. And so sometimes my work is this, to push away, clean the skin, cut skin off, and reveal beautiful clitoris. And these women begin to have wonderful orgasms.
But it's amazing to know that. It's amazing to know that the clitoris looks like the gland penis.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know what job I'm going to be doing my next live.
It also has a frenulum.
To go for this break. My next live, I'm not going to be here talking about duvet, guys. No. I've chosen my hustle. Thank you. So quick break, our final one. When we come back, this 3 men here and 2 ladies will continue to talk about the vagina. We're talking about a lot of things, including some of the questions you've sent to us. Please, we've activated the phone lines. Do call us and get to talk directly to Doc. And I'm sure some of your comments and from the questions I'm seeing on social media, I think it needs more extensive consultancy sort of. This is not a one-off thing, and we can exhaust that in the 30 minutes we have left. So I would suggest that you get in touch with Dr. Senyo, who is a friend to the show, and you're live on social media, right?
Yes. So GR Senyo. DR Senyo. Twitter.
Okay.
And then SMK Senyo.
SMK
on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, and then officially Dr. Senyo.
Okay.
On Instagram.
So he's our guy on the show today, and of course Papa, aka Dr. Smooth. In fact, today I'm giving you Dr. Smooth because of the technicalities we've gotten into. Elaine Atto, she's an actress. She's got something coming up this Christmas Eve. I'll be telling you more about that. And of course, myself, Giovanni, and Miss Nancy. So yes, someone wants us to talk about this unusual odor, unusual smell. You can talk about treatment of the vagina and leave this out, right?
How do we know
so
the
yes,
vagina
how do
is
we
sick?
know the regular, the usual, the normal smells from when it's something that needs medical attention?
All right, so we all agree that usually the vagina should not have any pungent smell.
Foul.
Or foul smell. So most people will know their vagina as almost blunt. It doesn't have any smell except for the sweat that their body produces that they smell around the area. All right, now even the smell of the vagina changes. Now, at the initial stages of your menstrual cycle, when blood is flowing, then you might have the smell of blood, fresh blood. Now, altered blood as well has its smell. So when you have a pad there or a tampon and blood has stayed on and it's altered, it begins to decay a little bit. So that will have a smell as well. So now when the bleeding stops, you still have a bit of that bloody smell, and then the discharge goes to brownish, light, pinkish, and then it stops. Then the vagina should not have any smell. You have secretions that begin, which are, mucoid or like okra, and those ones also do not smell. As time goes on, they thicken, they become even, more slimy and the rest. The vagina should not smell at that point as well. Now, if you've noticed that your vagina has changed in its original smell or scent, you should come see us. If you notice that the vagina is smelling foul, be like rotten eggs, rotten fish, like onions and the rest. But mind you, onion smell sometimes comes, sometimes, yes.
Food
you eat. The food you eat as well. But sometimes onion smell also comes, just after intercourse when you haven't washed down. And then there's also one, when you have intercourse and the man ejaculates into you, and all of a sudden there's rotten egg smell around, it signifies some particular type of infection. So once you tell your doctor this, he goes straight to giving you certain medications as well. Now there are also gas-forming bacteria that can colonize your vagina. Now these ones, when they are in there, they react with some of the secretions in your vagina and they let off gas. Now that gas could also smell foul. So any foul smell down there, please go and see your gynae or a medical practitioner.
So what do you have to tell men out there who say, bonde, We like it smelly.
All right,
combination. There are men like that.
Yeah, there are some men like that, but the fact is, there are certain things that men do that also give them the foul smell. For instance, a man goes to eat fried rice and chicken and goes to lick.
Yeah.
You give the woman a bacterial infection.
Yeah.
The man doesn't trim the nails well,
Yeah.
and he uses the
Finger.
finger. The hands are dirty, and the man is fingering.
Okay.
The man has not taken a bath, has sweat and dead skin
Dirty
all
boxer shorts and
over,
all that.
all over him.
Preach on, brother, because around that area,
Yeah.
men don't say these things. But when a man hasn't taken a good shower,
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of
apparatus,
dirt,
it smells
around
so
the
bad.
All right.
And
So
sometimes they
let's-
tell the woman to give them head on top of
Can you
that.
imagine?
serious.
On that smelly, heady note, we have a call on the line. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's the name? Where are you calling us from?
Please, my name is Mercy Ofori,
All
and
right.
I'm from Tema.
Okay, welcome to Duvet. Talk to us.
And I'm enjoying the show. I'm a big
Thank
fan
you.
of Giovanni and
Uh-huh.
Miss Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you so much. So, any thoughts to share? Any questions for Doc or Papa or...
I wanted to ask
Elaine?
if the menstruation cycle of a woman changes the shape of the vagina in any way. He talked about sense, but I wanted to know if it does, because he made mention about that before he went into detail.
All right, sure. We'll take that one. Thank you for calling, Doc.
So throughout your menstrual cycle, because of exposure to different levels of hormones, the vagina also responds. All right, now when you start your cycle, the estrogen you produce is from your growing eggs or the follicles, so it's small. As time goes on, the eggs are getting bigger, producing higher estrogen. So you see that the number of cells that line your vagina begin to increase. And the more they are, the more secretions there are and all of that. The juicier the place is, and getting towards ovulation, everything is succulent for reproduction. Okay, so then a woman is ready. There are subtle changes in length and all of that. Those ones, it just depends on how much of the cervix or the neck of the womb has entered into the vagina. Mind you, the cervix robs the vagina of a little, about a few centimeters into the vagina. Now, there are some times that the cervix will lift up, especially during sexual excitement, to give more space. So there's something called tenting in the vagina or bagging, all right? When you are very, stimulated, the vaginal walls, especially the back, begins to open up, all right? And then the cervix lifts itself up to create space to collect the semen. All right. And then just after a man has come, as if the cervix knows, it comes to dip itself into the pool of semen so that sperms can climb up. So these changes are subtle. You might not even notice that the changes are there. But for some women, the thing that will tell them that the vagina is changing in shape and length is how much pain they get on deep penetration. Although certain diseases could cause such pain as well. Yeah.
So we have a call on the line before you come in, Papa. So too many messages. Mariama says, I'm really enjoying tonight's show. Duvet, very educative, very intense and interesting. Now this one says, well, I'm wondering if I'm a woman, because you guys are telling me a lot of things I didn't even know about myself. You got, well, both women here are equally lost, so please, welcome aboard.
We've never been there. We've never been there.
They're like, come on, doctor, how come you know more about my body than I do about myself? Come on, guys. I know, right? We have a call on the line, guys. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello, boss. The name?
Yes, I'm calling from Audon Cemetery.
Okay.
Bro.
Inside the cemetery.
Tomb number. Grave number what?
Grave number 41.
Don't stop scaring me. Stop scaring me, Afisi. Let's hear you.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, man.
Basically, I would want to ask, is there any policy in Ghana that one could wish specialization and come to one other special? Because I would want to experiment Dr. Senyor's office for at least one time. Not for any fact, just for the fact of the description.
I dream fear about you,
vaginas that we are talking about. Now, come to think of it, in any case, should a woman have an odor? Now, it's so disrespecting for a man to just come out, to come and abuse the woman verbally and tell her you have that smell.
True.
A good man, I think, would rather propel a good plan for the woman to go see a doctor. Now, I would want to greet Elaine, Well, how are you? This is Kwesi calling. So take it easy.
You change your words. When you go to your lady, you change your words. Kiddie standard song, no. Keep it on repeat. Standard five. Anyway, thanks so much, my guys. We have a final lap to do.
Okay.
The fingering. Because how to stimulate the vagina, how to treat it right.
Yes.
We also heard that you mentioned lightly how you come to your point, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, you also mentioned lightly how certain ways of fingering can destroy things down there.
I need to establish the fact that not every woman wants you to put your fingers inside her. Sometimes we want you to touch us, but not to put it inside. We want you to play with the external. And this is basically because our men do not take the washing of their hands seriously.
And their fingernails are so grown.
They do not even have wipes in their cars. And so he just meets you after working.
And a quickie.
Touched everybody, greeted everybody, and he wants to put his hand, you know, the brown one. He's got pepper on his hands and all of that.
He wants to go oral too.
It's not every woman. But
and when you're screaming that, she should say, me say my catch was my proud. Yeah, me can't say my proud.
Sometimes when they are fingering, they go up there, which it doesn't help.
Mind your finger though. This is family TV. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. Papa, you need to make that point. You need to make that point.
To finger because it doesn't help when you go up. Okay, so
you see, what I wanted to add was that women shouldn't see menstruation as a bad thing or a dirty thing. It's just like you prepare a very wonderful meal for a man to come and eat, and probably the man didn't turn up, and then the food gets bad and you just have to pour it down.
That's exactly
basically that's it. Basically that's it. So it is just the washing of the lining so that the woman would just like clearing the table so that
the visitor didn't come.
It's as simple as that. We shouldn't see it as anything that is dirty. The other thing that you were talking about, I mean, fingering and stuff. You remember I used my hand to demonstrate that. For most people, you have to ensure that your nails are very well trimmed. And then also, they should clean and not rough.
File it.
Yes, and they shouldn't be rough. And then, if you pick the vagina as
like we see on the screen.
You pick the vagina as my hand, as you have it on the screen there, and you see, some people want to poke in there.
It's painful.
They want to reach far with the finger.
Yes. But the thing is, if you pick the vaginal canal itself, besides the posterior pharynx and anterior pharynx, there's no other area that is sensitive besides the uterus sponge, which is up tied on the urethra, which we call the G-spot. Which you call the G-spot, and then the O-spot, which is around the anal lining. It is around, the O-spot is down.
It is opposite to
the G-spot. And normally when you place your finger on the O-spot, the vaginal canal opens a little wider. Right? And then it feels like you're stimulating the anus. For the woman, it feels like you're stimulating the anus. That is where it has been discovered to be the O spot. Those are the areas that are sensitive. And then we should also understand that between the G spot and the urethral pharynx, they have discovered an R spot in the middle there. So all the way that line, that vaginal canal itself is not really sensitive. It's only at the ends.
And also, most women, actually, I dare say over 80% of women prefer the playing to happen on the exterior.
Yes.
All right. Now, you see, skin is so made that it responds to tactile stimulus, meaning touch. All right. Now, so when you want to start fingering a woman, you need to test the waters. All right. Mind you, and I have to say this, for a woman to accept you sexually and get aroused, the work is not from the day. The work began long ago. The way you treat that woman from here, the way you treat that woman, the nice things you say to her, how you look, how you smell.
The smell is important.
Absolutely. So all of those things feed, impulses into a woman's brain before she can accept you. So a woman might accept fingering from Mrs. Smooth and say she won't accept it from me just because she's totally attracted. All right? So depending on even the day, a woman might say, I want fingering or I do not want it. And it's a good man who says that, look, woman, which one do you like? Let me serve you what you want.
And so we see that.
All right.
You should, gentlemen, you should never want to put your hands inside a woman who is not lubricated.
Definitely not.
So you play with her outer, that will lubricate her, so you can even have access. No matter how little your fingers are, we are small and tight in there.
But you see,
Yes.
every woman has that area where she gets very hot at. Some women have very extremely sensitive clitoris. And other women have insensitive clitoris. Some women enjoy G-spot stimulation. Others see it as annoying.
Some prefer the penis being
used to rub.
And then you see,
instead of a finger.
Brushwork.
And then you see the brushwork. The brushwork is rubbing where we call the U-spot. The U-spot is directly on top of the urethra. Where the urethra
surface of
between the clitoral perineum and then the urethra matrix. That space that we have there. So when you are doing the brushing, that's where you are touching.
You should concentrate.
So some women love those areas, and some women also love the anterior posterior, which is the A spot and the deep spot sort of touch
stimulation.
So you need to know, you need to explore. And women also need to explore themselves. Get to find out what takes them before. I mean,
so there's an exercise I do for my patients. I tell you, go home and the two of you map out the areas on your partner that you think are the erogenous zones. And most people get it wrong. Even people who've been married for 10 years. All right.
They don't know
means
their
that they do not communicate.
And they don't even know they themselves.
And
They don't know themselves.
So there are times
inhibited. They won't go.
I was talking
Maybe they are shy.
My
Being
toes.
told it's a sin, you know.
I have been talking about my toes on the show, and anytime I talk about
you mentioned your nose a lot.
the scratching of my scalp, the sucking of my toes, people are like, your toes?
Are you serious? I clean them.
Go there. You are not getting into me.
And the woman needs to learn herself, like you're saying.
There's a direct link between the toe, if you're looking at it from acupuncture, to the brain. And then you see, there's a direct link between the tip of the nipple to your pineal gland and your pituitary glands. And that same link is at the clitoris, to the pineal gland and the pituitary gland.
So there are many pressure points on the body that could give you stimulation. And that's actually the basis of acupuncture.
So stimulate the areas that will stimulate the brain.
All right. So before we lose it on the fingering, I think that one, the communication, two, working on a woman's brain, then two, testing the waters. Now, you know, when we're in school, boys will say you want to, you know, check oil. All right. Now, when you played with a woman enough, there are changes in the body that will tell you that she's wet there. I'll tell you just one today. Now, when you start touching a woman's breast, without any stimulation, the breast usually are firm or harder. Now, when you start playing, the nipples erect. And then the body of the breast itself begins to lose its structure and becomes fluid. All right. And then now you see that you can actually knead the breast. The beginning when you start and you squeeze, you'll be like Ajay. Later when she's well stimulated, you see that the breast itself can be held and squeezed. At that point, and then you see at that point, and when a woman's breathing changes, it's a bit heavy and it's warm, just take the palm of your finger, go down there, touch the clitoris and see, go to the very bottom, the posterior foreskin, and then you see drip in there. Now take that drip, bottom here, and just take the palm and rub it all the way up and bring lubrication to the clitoris. Now when you start making little circles there, you watch the woman gyrate, it tells you that this woman is ready. Go in with only the first few centimeters of your finger, because most women will get stimulation at the entrance and make little circles there before you go deeper. Now a woman who doesn't want deep, at that point she's pleasured and when you go a little bit, she pushes you a little bit. So men also should watch out. Now, some women will give you a little bit of pushing to tell you are in too deep. A woman will say, to tell you that, oh, it's painful. But most Ghanaian men I meet, the more pain a woman...
They think they're pleasuring the woman. What kind of sickness is that? They think they're pleasuring the woman. Just say, but you don't know you've caused pain. And the woman will never want to see you again.
Dread.
It's really bad. Sex is not supposed to be painful. We want to enjoy
just to come and have
sex. Just to come and have sex, to get a hard on, and then they think that's pleasure.
See sex as a linear thing. They start and they have to finish eating it. So they are unable they are unable to get into the female orgasm zone. And normally it takes 15 to 20 minutes to move the woman from cold into the female orgasm zone.
Some do longer than that.
Oh yeah. Some do way longer.
I said normal. Most people accept even 10 minutes, but some people can go
45 minutes
the whole time with no show.
Simply because they have blocked their brains because of something bad they don't like, or probably have said something they don't want.
Men should feel great when your woman receives you. When your woman's body receives you, it reacts. So when you do everything under the sun and she's not receiving you, you should be very sorry. It means that over the 100% exam that you were given, you had just 20%. What born, what failing? You are not a sexy man. You are not good at
it. It onto the woman rather. And then you
know, a man that has the patience to make his woman come, it's adored. We revere them, we worship them. We know that it takes a lot of work for a man to take me here, and when I get there, the feeling that I get, there is no sin that you will do that I cannot forgive you.
Exactly.
Madam,
we should also understand that sex is not just a feeling; it's an energy, and that energy can be exchanged. And when couple who love themselves learn to exchange their energy, circulate their energies within them, it makes their love life even thicker. And they're able to live together. And in such relationships, they hardly cheat. So it is up to both people in a relationship to learn how to manage their sexual energies, how to harness their sexual energies, and not just throw that energy out. And I am number one person against that senseless ejaculations.
Yes, about the men. Tonight is about the vagina. Let them have all the senseless.
We're wrapping up this topic. That's like bad news, I know. But let's get to the treatment, please. How is the solution? How do we? Is there any way you do it out before coming to you, or maybe? Any way exercises to.
The main thing is the care of the vagina. Luckily, God in His wisdom has created an environment in the vagina that takes care of itself. Now, these folds in the vagina I talked about, they are all pointed downwards. When a woman is lying down in bed, her vagina is pointing downwards. When she stands up, her vagina is pointing downwards and backwards as well. It means that everything about the vagina directs that which is not good towards down. So your vagina cleans itself and brings out all the quote-unquote impurities to the exterior, and that is where you wash. Now you have skin on the exterior, the clitoris, the labia, and the rest. They are lined by skin cells just like these ones. All right, there are secretions that come there, they clog dirt and dead cells. So that's where you have to wash thoroughly. All right, the inside of your vagina, you do not need to put water there. I always say that there's a balance in there with germs that are healthy, that protect your vagina. Anytime you wash the vagina, you wash away the easy to wash germs, and then you leave the hard to wash germs. They have more space. You have added water into your vagina. The vagina has heat normally. There are glycogen cells there, so there's sugar there. And so the germs have all the conditions necessary to grow, and then your vagina begins to get sick. Now, when you have a sick vagina, some of them
maybe insert things that destroy the body.
Yes. Now, so when you have a sick vagina, that's where you need help. All right. Now, sometimes you have a vagina that has copious discharge and it smells. And when you even sit down, people can smell your vagina. So for those ones, you can easily do some home remedies. Wash a little. People will say they'll use salt water. It's not a problem for me if your vagina is diseased.
Yes.
Do that and come to hospital and we sort you out. Vagina with no problem does not need any special care. Now also, we have all kinds of products on the market. There are a few that are good, the rest are not. Mind you, anything about women and sexuality is big money business. So there are people who are cashing in on that. On Instagram and Facebook, people are giving you things from the north, from Syria and the rest. Please avoid those ones. And then bring every product to your practitioner or your gynecologist. Let that person analyze it and say, hey, my sister, this is good or that is not good. And then that should be okay. Now, when we come to other diseases like discharges that are smelling bad, we run tests to find out what infection it is. We can treat it. Vagina that is loose either from childbirth or some disease, and so is dropping out. Some vagina, the walls can pull out, or the womb itself could be dropping out. There is surgery for that. It's not something that you can solve spiritually or by praying or traditionally. Or by come to hospital, we can sort all of those things out for you.
Sure. Ms. Nancy, quickly.
Yes,
we're wrapping up.
of course, we need to go. But women should understand that the hair around the vagina is equally important. I realize that when you have Brazilian waxes, where you take all the hair off, your vagina becomes dry. And it becomes very difficult for you to lubricate. And so you need to be sure of these things. You just don't do things because they are in vogue. Take good care of your vagina.
I love that. Elaine?
Well, the vagina is a beautiful thing. You need to make sure it's always healthy for your man. Please do not do any insertions that will enlarge, widen, or ruin the walls of your vagina. That is when the men have problem with it. Like he said, please, the vagina can clean itself. And a healthy vagina does not need any treatment.
Vagina monologue. So, Christmas Eve, what's happening? Real quick.
Christmas Eve, I'm doing a donation for homes. I have not selected the homes yet because I want to go on the streets. So Elenato Foundation is doing a food fest for the people in the streets, for the children in the streets who are starving. I myself have starved before, so I know how this is. So you're helping. So I'm helping and giving back to the community. You can donate to my foundation's number 0233830031 or my IG handle. Yes, Elenato Foundation. You can Ato Foundation.
Right, thank you.
And then Home Sweet Home is coming back with a bang.
We're waiting.
Yes, and Dynamic Team. I love you all, darlings.
Thank you. So, yes, Dr. Smooth.
Yeah.
Wrap up and then we talk about the other one.
Oh, what I want to say is women should learn to train their vaginas.
Yeah.
If you have if you train the PC muscles and the vagina is healthy and it is strong, no man can turn you down and no man can cheat on you. Basically, that's it. You should have a very, very, very well trained vagina.
And there are some exercises.
I will have to add something to that.
Kegels
are very important.
Kegels are very important.
After childbirth, you need to
train the vagina.
And you have something coming up.
Yes, I have a show coming on the 21st of December at Hotel, we call it Villa Angelia at Osu. I have observed that many young people have premature ejaculations. So I want to teach men how to stop those premature ejaculations.
Or delay.
Stop it.
Really?
Yes, I mean, it can be done. How you can stop...
Over 90% of cases,
Yes, you can stop yourself from becoming a premature ejaculation person. You should always be able to enter into the orgasm zone for women. So and then some women also don't feel anything like we're talking about. It's simply because they have this atrophy of the muscle in the vagina. Even virgins have it.
How do we become part of it?
All right, so if you want to be a part of that show, just call me 0244 66 1011. 0244 66 1011. I mean, come
Thank you very much, guys. I wish we had a part 2 of this, but I hope you learned a lot. Remember, the repeat is always on Saturday.